Hello, in this lesson 2, I would like to speak about the variables, about what is a variable anyway and how could you use it, about the variable name, which characters could it contain, and how could you create a variable and how you use it, about the dynamic variables, just one example, and about the hyperlinks to a variable, what is a data type, and how could you write the variables type to the browser or check with an if, and demodify a data type, how could you do it, and what is a constance in PHP. So, what is the variable? Variables is just a container to aim to store data into it. These variables start with a $sign. Let's start PHP, and the variable start with a $sign. The first letter and the other ones might have numbers, letters, and underscore. These are the elements could contains. The restricted characters, the special characters, of course. And if you create a variable, you must add, for example, a value of it. So that was the variable names. So how could you create a variable and how could you use it? You could add the variable value with an equal sign, and if it's a string, which is a text, you'd use the quotation mark. So this is a string, and if you create a string, you must escape the special characters, for example, quotation mark. If you create the string with quotation mark, start and end, right? So this is a string. And what type could be? These are the integer type, which is a number. Number 1 is this. And you must close the line with a semicolon. Right? So this is an integer type and of course a number. So there is another type which is called double. And double type, for example, 3.114, which is a p. And when you add a value to an integer or a double, you mustn't use the what is the name of quotation mark, of course, sorry. So this is the third type, and another is boolean, which is a logic variable. Its value is true or false. So true has equal with true. Its variable name could be everything you want it, and this type is boolean, and the doubles type is double. And there are two other variable, which is an object and array, but in the future I will tell you these two variables. So for the basics you could use these variable types. So these are the variable types. And what is a dynamic variable? Variables comes from the normal variables, but if it has a method to use it, so let's create a variable, for example a, its value is 1 2 3. Create another variable which is b, and its value will a. If you want to print the a variable, this is the normal method, but you could use the b to print its values variable. For example b, that means if it's print, it will change the b variables to its value, which is a, and that will print the a variable. So let's test it. The b value is a, and use the double dollar sign, and this is 1 2 3, the a variable's value. There is another method which is used. Use the curly brackets to set this variable's name, for example a. But you could use the string function in this case. Let's create this method, right? If you have another variable which is c, these values will be linked in together with the point. C will be linked into b, and that's where you will a1, and that will print this dynamic, which is 1 2 3, right? So another thing is the hyperlinks. If you have two variable and you make the operation to set the b value into a1, and if you print b, so let's print the b, which is 1. Let's create this operation. B value will be right. So let's go to the second part of the tutorial.